Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another great edition of Virtual Happy Hour 3.0, country presentation from all over the world. Today we have an honor guest who is a former colleague of mine. We were both working together in a Berlin company. And Satu, have to stop the music. So we worked together in a Berlin company, and then we went apart. He went to Lufthansa, and I went to a different company, which I will not mention now. Now he's still with Lufthansa, and I'm with IBS Software. And today he is going to make another special presentation because we have two countries today, Romania and Moldova. And yeah, Zlatko, I think the stage is yours. We are very excited to get to know more about the country of Dracula.
Yes, the country of Dracula. I think that's what everybody knows. Yeah, good evening to everybody. Yeah, I'm Zlatko, as Daniel mentioned. We worked together at the beginning of this millennial in Berlin. Since then, yeah, my journey took me over the world. I started with Lufthansa in Berlin. It took me later from Berlin to Frankfurt. There I got a traineeship to become sales and station manager abroad. I was trained over 1.5 years and got my first posting in Vietnam. After Vietnam, I was shortly returning to Germany, was based in Hamburg as key account manager, and then I started again abroad in Algiers for 5 years as sales manager. Then I changed from North Africa to West Africa, from Algeria to Nigeria, where I spent 3.5 years in Abuja as station manager. And since last year, March, I'm now in Bucharest, the sales manager for Romania and Moldova. So what is a sales and station manager doing? It's easy. I start with a station manager. That's a guy who is caring at the airport that the aircraft is handled correctly, all passengers checked in and flight leaving on time. So all what is at the airport, I'm leading there a team of own staff and handling agents to do all the aircraft operations, which means unloading of cargo, fueling, cleaning, catering, and then, yeah, embarking passengers and getting them to their destination. As sales manager, we are taking care of travel agencies and corporations. In Algiers, we still had an own ticket agency, a Lufthansa sales office, where people could buy tickets, but this was only because Algeria was a cash market. So the people couldn't really buy online, which developed now and changed. Yeah. So and now in Romania, also as a sales manager, taking care of all the travel agencies and big corporations. And on top, I have the role as a country manager, where I have the power of attorney for signing the necessary documents and to be the contact for authorities.
So you have also a lot of political meetings then with the government of Romania and Moldova?
No. This is limited to some contacts with chambers of commerce, the German, Austrian chambers of commerce, Swiss chamber. I have, let's say, contact to the ambassadors, especially now in this COVID times, when they are asking if we would operate or not, what are restrictions. On the same, I ask the ambassadors, how is their feeling or what are their governments planning for travel restrictions or to ease travel restrictions? In Nigeria, yes, it was on a political level because in the capital, I had all the big shots there, President of Parliament. We handled the German Air Force flight, so I had Steinmeier, Merkel and von der Leyen in Abuja, where I handled the aircrafts myself. So it was an interesting job at that time. Yeah, Romania and Moldova, the history. I think if you see the flags, they are quite similar, just that Moldova has an eagle on it in the middle. Otherwise, it's the same.
I cannot see your presentation.
No,
The other
I didn't, because the music in the background. I would like first to introduce some words, then I will start it.
Good.
So later you will see the flags. So the flags are identical, just the eagle in the middle. And this is because we had former country Moldova. You have also nowadays one state in Romania which is called Moldova, which is in the north with the airport Iași. So you will see it later on the map also how close they are. Yeah, Romania made the step towards the west, became part of the European Union. Moldova is still somewhere in between. They have been a former Russian state, and yeah, still you have some people who are tending more to the east and some more to the west. So politically, very difficult situation there, and this is also seen in the development of the country. Yeah, let's try to start if we can get this loaded again. There it is. So let's go to the presenter mode. Okay, now you have it.
So now we are flying into Romania, or is it Moldova?
This is Romania. Now we are flying, but I don't know why the music is not stopping.
I can barely understand you.
Yeah. Sorry for the music. Let's try now if this is working without. Yeah, okay. Now we have it without the music. Sorry. Okay, so you see the cities we are flying in Romania and Moldova. So the biggest city is Bucharest, the capital of Romania. Our airline group is well represented.
So you are counting Air Canada Rouge already to the Lufthansa Group?
Not to the Lufthansa Group, but it's a partner airline. We have a joint venture with Air Canada and United to North America. So, and we have for Eastern Europe, we are also a test market where we are doing the sales for them because they are not represented in this area. So we are also doing the sales for Air Canada and United. So the flight numbers is still of the pre-COVID, just that you see what we had before. Nowadays, everything is different. So, and the flights are reduced, but we are regularly flying. Come on, next. Okay, now the next slide is not coming. Yeah, now we have it. Okay, this is the place, the Palace of Parliament. I think in Romania, or if you're thinking of Romania, the name Ceausescu says something. That's the last president before the revolution, called dictator. People are a lot talking bad about him, but also you have to see that he did some good things, developed a lot for the people, but yeah, somehow this is hidden behind the things he did not so good. And one of the not so good things was the waste of money on this building, which is the biggest building in Europe and the second largest building in the world, the Palace of Parliament, which is nowadays used also as representative buildings. Some meetings are there, and you have a museum showing you around, and you can go inside and get a look into the past of Romania. Let's say Romanians still have a problem with their past. It's somehow a period which is not yet completely discussed and worked over. So the people still suffering. Everybody had the bad years of the communism period. But on the other hand, they also arrived in the modern times, and the country is very open, very, very safe, and it has even the fastest internet in Europe. So, and the IT sector is one of the biggest industries here in Romania. Romania is definitely, compared to Germany, on a very high level. Not in all parts. Let's say the health system is still not so good. They are still having the old state hospitals, which are really lacking the standard. But the private hospitals are here really on a modern standard. And I myself also had a surgery here in May. So really high technology and medical expertise. So this is not Paris. So also Bucharest has the Arc of Triumph. It's a landmark when you're coming from the airport going into the city. It's one straight road. So this is, let's say, the city gate before entering the closer city center. Then you have the old Romanian Athenaeum. It's used as a concert hall, very nice building. And yeah, before COVID, we also had regularly concerts and operas within. This is in the city center. You see the architecture is very old, nice architecture, beautiful buildings, and a lot of them are already completely renovated. Although you still have in some very beautiful houses which are not renovated and look very ugly. So maybe Daniel, as you are living in Berlin and know close to the eastern German part, I think if you travel to Dresden or Leipzig, let's say 15, 20 years ago, it was the same situation there.
But just for the minutes, I'm from West Berlin, and I'm very.
Okay, that's Uniri Square. That's close to the Palace of Parliament. A huge area with nice fountains. So every year in May, there's a big season opening when all the fountains are lighted up and people are celebrating a nice evening with live music, bands, and everything. So, and also in front of the Palace of Parliament, you have a big square where you have regularly big concerts. So last summer, Bon Jovi was here. Really in summer, outdoors was a great event.
So the guys in Dubai, they have stolen the concept then from Bucharest for their own fountains.
Yes. No, this was here just renovated 3 years ago. And then opened with this light festival, and now they are having it every year. Yeah, we come to one of the top industries in Romania, automotive. So this is a Dacia Duster. The name Dacia, these are the original people who lived in Romania before the Romans came. Yeah, so Dacia is not a fantasy name, that's the Romanian people. And then when the Roman came, yeah, it became Romania nowadays. The Duster, beautiful car. I'm having the same one with a Mercedes Renault engine. Really excellent car and does not need to hide behind the German cars. And yeah, automotive suppliers are really one of the key industries in Romania, especially the area of Timișoara and Cluj. They have a lot of these suppliers who are doing the small parts for all these cars. Now we come to a little bit of traditional Romanian food and pottery. So this pottery is typical for Romania. What you see in the middle, the yellow one, is like the Italian no, sorry, I forgot the name. It's like the Italian style. It's from corn wheat, and a lot of meat is traditional in the Romanian kitchen.
So in which country have you gained more weight? You were everywhere and you have eaten all the local food. So which of the local food has contributed most to your current weight?
That's the problem. It's always going up and down. So as I'm a marathon runner, I'm running so that I can eat always. And let's say the most difficult time is shortly before you leave a country. All the welfare parties and welfare dinners, there you gain always 3-4 kilos. So and then with the move, the stress and settling down, you are losing it. So you have in the right corner, known also from Croatia or from the ex-Yugoslavian countries, čevapčići, called in Romania mić. It's meat rolls, very excellent, and you see the different sausages. And in the right corner on the top, it's sarmale. This is cabbage rolls filled normally with minced meat and rice. So these are some of the typical Romanian dishes here.
Are there also vegetarians in Romania?
Oh, you have some, yes, but mainly it's meat here. So here you see one of the nice sweet ones, papanash. That's a typical Romanian dessert.
Well, what is this made of? Because it looks like a bit like meatballs with cream.
No. It's
I'm just kidding.
It's made out of wheat and put in oil and then covered nicely.
But it's a little bit like this piece of cake picture from you. I like it very much.
Yeah.
You mean the one I posted? Oh, okay.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and here one more specialties wine, and the bottle where Romania is written, that's palinka or cujka, that's plum brandy. So in Yugoslavia you say Šljivović to it. So
I love that. You drink it warm, actually, don't you?
Warm, yes. And a lot of good Romanian wines, and these are the specialties we are enjoying here. So coming a little bit to the nature, so you see some Roman architecture, very old, over the Danube. And we continue a little bit across. So if you see, this is an Orthodox cross, so Romania is Orthodox, and like the Russians and Serbians celebrating Easter the same time, just Christmas is also like the Western European on the 24th of December. There they are not following the Russians. Get to the Danube Delta, that's the largest river delta in Europe. So the Danube is ending here and going to the Black Sea, and it's a nice, beautiful landscape. You see, you can go over the river with a cruise boat, 2-3 days, and then up in the delta and relax in some nice houses at the beach. This is still on my bucket list. My colleague did it last year and recommended this tour. And you see, really beautiful nature. So we come to the next city, Cluj-Napoca. That's also an old, nice city. You see the architecture partly coming from the Austrians who have been here. So even the Hungarians claim Romania is our, and you have the regions to the border of Hungary where also Hungarian is spoken. So in the middle, like Cluj or Sibiu, Brașov, which are all old German communities. So also German is spoken very widely here in Romania. And even the president, Klaus Iohannis, has a German name and comes out of this community.
Deutsch gut.
Yes.
Oh, but isn't there also an area in Romania where a lot of Germans lived? I'm just thinking about...
These are Kronburg, Hermannstadt.
Exile, that's...
Yeah. I'm just talking now, I'm taking the Romanian names. So you see, beautiful architecture, long history. Here, one of the biggest salt mines, which is under the surface. It's now an entertainment park. You can go visit it. There are even live concerts in this salt mine. So this is also still on my bucket list to do. Yeah, you see that's a view from the top.
Wow.
When you go down. A very interesting thing. Yeah.
Where is this?
And this is close to Cluj. So really in the middle of Romania geographically.
Wow.
So some caves. Really, nature in Romania is great. You will see some more pictures. So one of the things, the cemetery, they are having always beautiful colored tombs at the tombstones. There are some small histories written on it. It's more funny thing about the life of the people who are buried there. That's a Romanian tradition here. So people are quite religious, and yeah, this is one part of their history here. So Timișoara, that's already close to the Hungarian-Serbian border. 30 kilometers to the Serbian border, really beautiful city. Has a beautiful Christmas market, so if you don't know where to go, so come over here. So, and you see Timișoara was the first European city to adopt electric street light. So before all the Western European countries, Timișoara was completely electrified. And maybe you know Tarzan, Johnny Weissmuller, he was born in Timișoara.
Ah.
Yeah.
And the competitive edge is now in electromobility, or is this not the case that all buses and so on are driven by electro engines, for example?
No, not yet. So we have here, let's say in Bucharest, still the good old communist trolley bus, which is driving by electricity, like the tram in Western Europe. You're having here trolley buses driving through Bucharest. Let's say Cluj is a very modern city working on the city infrastructure to get very environmental friendly. But it's still a long way to go. So also the lack of Romania are the highways. You don't have really a highway connection. That's, let's say, our advantage as Lufthansa Group, because the people fly a lot. Coming from Timișoara to Bucharest would take you 6 hours. Going down to the Bulgarian borderline, you need around 3 hours. So to go to Craiova, where they have a Ford factory, which is really close to Bulgaria, takes you 3 to 4 hours from Bucharest. So, and that's really a problem. The only existing highway is to Constanța, to the Red Sea. So Friday noon, the highway is full of all the high-shot Bucharest guys going to the sea to party. So still you have in the country some parts of highways, 30, 40 kilometers, also from Bucharest. In each direction, you have around 60-kilometer highway, and then you are in the nature and need to follow the normal street over the villages. Oh, you see, that's the main part of manufacturing. So all the small parts are done in Romania. So you have Hella, Continental, Drechselmeier, who are big companies producing in Romania. Even Continental invested during the last year 27 million in a new IT center in Romania. So Romania's quality is well known in Western Europe.
And all these parts are delivered by trucks or by air freight? Yeah, trucks.
Mainly trucks. Yeah. So Oradea, that's close to the Hungarian border in the north western part of Romania. You have a lot of spas around there. It's really known for relaxation. So for this year, I just talked this morning to some travel agents. The winter season for the spas will not be so good because the COVID restrictions are still blocking people to travel. And even for New Year's Eve, where the people went around the country to events, this will be really limited because the number of participants is limited. So for the industry, travel industry, it's not a good outlook for the time being. So you see old question there. Some more pictures of the nature in Romania.
And as a station manager, you have to regularly visit the other destinations too?
At the moment, sales manager, yes. So I'm going there to visit customers, travel agencies, the big companies. So I'm in contact with them, exchanging, looking what do they need. We are closing contracts with them. So yeah, I'm traveling around the country and exploring it.
And say the general marketing for the market to Germany or the market to Romania, this is done from the headquarters in Frankfurt, or are you also involved in that?
No, the marketing, the general marketing is done from the headquarters. We are just doing, let's say, local mailings and some local translations and adaptations, but the main part is coming from Germany. So we go to CBU, Hermannstadt. That's the Bridge of Lies, and you see still some beautiful houses, but in a bad condition. It's just a short video. I get again flying over Romania. So you see also medieval city, really nice restaurants, nice architecture, always nice city centers to get a relaxed walk and explore this a little bit. So CBU is also more into it's a mix of IT and automotive supply. You see, so the Bridge of Lies. It's really in the city center. Here we are Brasov. That's another German city, Kronstadt. It looks like Hollywood, but we don't have the film industry here in Brasov. But still a lot of films are done here in Romania. And film companies from all over the world are coming to here. Even Hollywood is regularly, and we have one of our customers who is organizing the trips for these film industry.
And which is the most famous movie which was shot there?
Oh, don't ask me. So if you want to see a little bit of Romanian comedy and a little bit Romanian background, you should watch Miami Beaches on Netflix. It's also in English, and there you get really a small view on the Romanian tradition and how the people are. It's a comedy, but it's also a lot of truth behind it. So the Romanians are like this. So Transylvania, everybody knows this, the famous Dracula. But beside the Dracula castle, which will come later, you have still a lot of castles in Romania, and much more beautiful than this Dracula castle. Sighișoara is an old, nice city. You see really old streets like centuries before, and you have in all these cities some old parts where you can do walking tours and have an interesting insight. You see nice, colorful houses. That's how they lived before.
Just don't forget the garlic at nights when you walk the streets. That's
yeah. Here you see the castle of Bran, which is not really a big castle. We did a tour going first to Sinaia Peleshai Castle, which was built by a German who became king of Romania, and castle is much more beautiful than this Bran castle. When you go then to Bran, it's a little bit disappointing, but it's like you see it in the films. So the scenery is original there. Yeah, and then we go a little bit into the mountains, the Transalpina. You are in the clouds. This is also on my bucket list. There's another one. Here we have it, the Transfagarașan, the sky into the road, the road into the sky. So this tour I did, and it's really a nature, and you are really above the clouds, and you see how the clouds are mounting up the mountains.
Can you? Are there a lot of cars? I would like to do the way down actually with a skateboard. That would be great.
There are, let's say, if you're during the week, you have less cars, but you have a lot of bikers, so bicycles and motorbikes. So you see,
with a skateboard, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Well, maybe during the week, if there are not too much people, or early morning, you could do this for sure. So, but during the weekends, it's very crowded. The only problem, these roads are only open from May to September, because otherwise you have too much snow. And this point where the photo is taken from is at 1,600 meter height.
And there is no bicycle race like a Tour de Romania or something?
Yes, it ended just last Sunday here in Bucharest. When we visited this Transfagarașan road, it was an afternoon in Sibiu. We just went there for a lunch and saw on the marketplace there was a finish of one of the etaps.
So one of the etaps takes them across this road.
I don't know really. I didn't check the plan out.
That would be interesting. I mean, how much meters of height you need to cycle when you go?
Yeah. So it's a lot. So I think you start somewhere at 500-600 meters and you go up to 1,600 meters.
Wow.
So really, that's the top. There's a small lake and some restaurants. And the view.
It's a very nice marathon for you, isn't it?
Yes, would be, but I prefer more the flat one of Berlin. By the way, we had the Transylvania Marathon in Cluj, which was planned for April, postponed to November, and unfortunately just this week they cancelled it. So I have to do it next year in April. Yeah, then we come to Iași. This is now the Romanian Moldova. You see, quite close. So from Iași to the borderline, it's just also 30-40 kilometers. And here, the Palace of Culture, it's the old architecture, and included in this old architecture, you have opposite of the palace a modern shopping mall, but also not the typical one. They have a really nice architecture. I don't have a photo of this, but it's a big hall, and they are also having concerts and other events in this shopping center. And here it's really old and new architecture, really built to a nice picture together. And in Iași, it's an Amazon fulfillment support center, which was the first one outside of the US. And there are around 1,000 people working for Amazon in Iași. So, and also they have 7 universities in Iași and exchanging with students all over the world. And one of the IT centers. So, monasteries you have also all over the country, really all different types, and you have even some completely with a lot of blue, which is somehow the holy color here. You see this blue, and there are some really nice monasteries with these colorful paintings. I just skip through it. So now we come to Moldova, Chișinău. Yeah, also they have their Arc of Triumph and the city gate of Chișinău. So this city is a mix. You have the old communist big blocks, and on the other hand you see a lot of green, and even in the city center on one side you have, let's say, old traditional theaters, nice buildings out of the 18th and 19th century, and then these communist buildings, and The next street, you are like in a small village, small villas with a lot of green and trees, and you think you are not in a city but outside. So it's a very interesting city. Yeah, the main industry in Moldova, it's agriculture, so good wines, and then a part of automotive. That's the part. So they are looking really for investments, but unfortunately the political situation is not stable, so that a lot of investors are not coming to Moldova. Yeah. The House of Parliament, which is trying to mix a little bit of old style and communist style. Here you see the old theater, which has a nice architecture. The Strong Drinks Museum, this is also on my list. I have to try it out, and you even have also some nice wineries. Yeah, this was planned for this summer, but unfortunately Moldova was completely closed down. Nobody was allowed to enter, just people who had residence and work permits there. Yeah, you see also the architecture coming or similar to Romania. And here you see some traditional dresses. This you see also in Romania. And if you go through the Balkan, Bulgaria, Serbia, Croatia, Bosnia, they have all similar styles like this. And yeah, one of the most known wineries, which is underground, a very large one. So trying to visit it next year. You see the dining room of the winery. And that's my team and me in the park close to our office in some traditional dresses. So this presentation we had last year for a big summit of our region when we met with all the teams in Vienna. Was a nice day of exchange. So all the teams presented their countries.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much, Zlatko.
Thank you.
Very good.
Very nice. Thank you.
Very nice, Zlatko. Thank you.
You know what?
If you're stopping screen sharing, then we are seeing all the other attendees in this call.
Yeah, one. Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what I hate a bit about these presentations, anyway, in our job, we are used to travel a lot and get in different places, but with lockdown we might be heading again into a lockdown. You see all these nice country presentations.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking, when will I be able to go there, actually?
We are traveling only by the presentations. We are not allowed to go there now. So we just hope to get there sometime.
Yeah.
So the biggest competitor for you is then Tarom?
No, Tarom is not a big. They are a small, stable airline. I'm using them also for my trips here within the country or going to Chisinau. I even took them now last August to Egypt. So they have a good service, but no, they are not a big competitor. So let's say the competitors are more the low-cost airlines like Wizz Air, Ryanair. We have Blue Air, which is also a local Romanian low-coster, but also not on an international level. But almost all the big airlines are represented here. British Airways, Air France, Qatar, Turkish. So the normal market environment we are facing here.
And what's the strongest, say, outbound destination from Romania? Is there a Romanian diaspora somewhere in the world where many Romanians are flying to?
We have them everywhere. So you have around 4 to 5 million Romanians outside of Romania. Let's say a big part in Italy because Romanian language is in family with French, Italian, Portuguese. So
it's Latin origin, yes.
Latin, so Latin with some Slavic words. So as I had Latin and French in school, Croatian as mother language. For me, the words are, I understand quite a lot of words. I'm also now quite good into Romanian, but the grammar is horrible. So if you say German or Russian grammar is difficult, forget it. The Romanian is stopping this.
Really?
So, yes. So there's really no rule. The exception is the rule. The Romanians are suffering with their grammar. So, but let's say word-wise in daily life, if somebody's not speaking English or German, at least my Romanian is now fair enough that I can understand and handle the situation.
But hey, Zlatko, what I always wanted to ask you, you started your career actually in air cargo.
Yes.
Correct. So how is it actually going from cargo into the passenger business?
How is it going? So my career, I started in the logistic business, and then when I worked in Berlin, I was working as regional manager for DHL Air and Ocean Freight, and then I was customer of Lufthansa, and then I left DHL and worked with Daniel at a software company. And then the Lufthansa cargo manager was asking me if I would like to join. He needed a key accounter because this one was retiring. And he said in 2-3 years he will move on and I could take over his position. Yeah, so I started with Lufthansa in the cargo business. And then when it was time to take over the sales management in Berlin, there came a reorganization and the job was gone. So I had to move to Frankfurt, and there I got into this trainee program for working abroad. And I have to say this was one of the best decisions. It was a very interesting traineeship for 1.5 years. I passed all the trainings the Lufthansa Group is offering for sales and station. So really I worked, I did load and flight planning. Then I worked for 4 weeks in the load planning. I worked on the ramp. I was 4 weeks in Paris, really surveying the loading of aircraft, even helping to load bags. And on my last day, when I was alone, we even had position move so that I had to marshal the aircraft in. So,
no, that experience.
Awesome.
Yeah. No, this was really a great time. So I was in Shanghai, in Addis, in Hungary for sales. There, when I was in Hungary, we organized a sales meeting in Romania. There I was the first time in Romania, 2007. And then I got my first job in Vietnam. So, and really meeting people from ministries, famous people. We had, let's say, the Asia Championship in Vietnam. So you're meeting football teams, trainers coming from the Balkan area. You're talking Croatian with them, and even in Nigeria. So the president of parliament was their regular customer. So you're talking to the guys. It's really a nice experience. And also all the different cultures. So Vietnam is one culture, coming then to Algeria, another culture, going to Nigeria, a completely different culture. So that's, I think, one of the most unique ones. It's really, really special country. But everywhere where I traveled, you had really, really nice people. So have to say, no bad experience.
And how are you getting prepared? Say you are in Vietnam, the culture, all the stuff, and now you are delegated to Algeria. Are you getting in training and intercultural training and so on?
That's mandatory. We have an intercultural training for 1-2 days, depending on the country, with the partner who is joining you. So very, very good. And also for Romania, we had a very good trainer, and a lot of things she told us are true. She said when people passing a church, they are doing the cross, and if a taxi driver cannot use his hands, he's doing it with his tongue, and you are really seeing this. So and people passing churches, you see them doing the cross. It's really things. Also with the cemetery, she informed us or told us this story, that they have really colorful cemeteries, putting histories on this. So no, that's these trainings are really, really good. But it's still, you have to discover a lot of things, and sometimes it's not easy. So and sometimes you are also doing mistakes, but okay, you learn out of it and cope with it.
And what was your weirdest situation you ever experienced in all these countries?
The weirdest one. Wow. The weirdest one. No, maybe when in Nigeria, when I handled the German Chancellor. So I opened the aircraft door and said, welcome to Abuja. And then I secured the door and turned, and then Mrs. Merkel was in the door. She looked me up and down and said, then I greeted her and said, welcome in Abuja on behalf of Lufthansa. And then she said, oh, the good old Lufthansa. Now I know why you speak so well German. Huh? So then she took my hand and went down. That was really... was a cool reaction of her, and she was very nice. And also I have to say Steinmeier was also really nice. When he left, there was the red carpet and all the Nigerian honorables stood there, and I was in the second row behind them and the last one before the stairs. And then he passed all the Nigerians and came to me and greeted me, and we had a small chat what I'm doing, and he said, okay, fine, nice to meet you, stay safe. Was also a nice experience. So.
And they were also playing the right national anthem, because I know in Djibouti, once Steinmeier was arriving, they were playing the wrong national anthem.
No, they were not playing there the national anthem.
Are there any questions to our honor guest today? From Canada, maybe?
No questions, but that was a great presentation. I had no idea that there was so much beautiful countryside. Anecdotally, I worked with a woman 20 years ago. She was born in Romania, but her family immigrated here in, I'll say, the 70s, maybe 80s. She's now back in Romania, and I see the pictures that she posts, and they're just absolutely incredible. I can understand why she went back.
My uncle is still in Canada. He left Croatia end of 50s, and he's now approaching 90 years, still living in Calgary. Although he's now skiing, he said, I don't have the power anymore, but still enjoying Canada. Yeah.
So Anuja, you are still betting on Italy, or you're changing course now? You're going more to Romania maybe for your next
and Romania.
And Romania, yes. No,
I'm sure you are going to spend double or triple amount of the time of the money you are spending in Italy. So that's, I think, the good thing in Romania.
Why? It's expensive or
no,
less?
The other way around. Italy is more expensive than Romania. So you can stay potentially 3 or 4 weeks in Romania for the price you have to pay in Italy.
Okay.
Yeah, and in Italy, be careful. When you go to a coffee shop to grab a coffee, don't sit outside. Go right inside, right at the bar, because there you will get it cheaper than when you sit up.
Okay.
And by the way, all the guys working in Italy, they all come from Romania. So that's why you can straight go to Romania.
Oh, okay. But the architecture looks more or less similar to the German ones. The palaces, the parliament. It looks more or less similar to the German architecture.
Yes, you have a lot of German-Austrian influence. And as I said, the Romanian king, end of 1800, came from Germany, Sigmaringen-Lothringen. And they influenced a lot of the culture.
Wasn't it part of the Count Khan monarchy?
Yeah, part. Yeah.
And good to know that Romania is more than Dracula.
Yeah, definitely. No. The life is really good. You have a good quality of restaurants, lifestyle, and as I said, it's very, very safe, and a lot to discover. And the only thing, some highways would be nice to reach faster the beautiful destinations. But okay, you take some more time, and you can enjoy the nature in between.
Do you know Sergio Zarazan from IATA?
No.
Okay. On Anka from IATA?
Yes, Anka, yes. With her, we are meeting regularly. Yeah.
And send her my regards.
Will do.
She knows me.
Okay, will do.
So then, thank you very much, Zlatko. It was a big honor for us having you.
My pleasure.
The Virtual Happy Hour 3.0. Please spread the word. We have 4 major criteria. People have to be smart, upbeat, positive, and enthusiastic. I think you are meeting all these 4 criteria. If you have some colleagues who have the same say code of life. Let them know that they can join one of the upcoming Virtual Happy Hour presentations. Next week, we are going to have Argentina. It's another great country with a lot of good wine and food and so on. And
everything.
I'm looking forward.
Yeah, I tried at the beginning of my career. I applied also for Buenos Aires, but at that time I didn't have enough experience, so I got Vietnam.
Good. So thank you very much.
Welcome.
And I wish you a good evening, rest of the day, and please stay healthy and safe.
Yes.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye
you.
bye.
Bye bye and take care.